It's amazing to realize that we're already at the end of 2019. Welcome to another edition of the P3 People, Performance, and Profits, where we look at how do we drive real performance from people to get the best out of people, not just the most out of people. You know, as we come to an end in 2019, we've got to start thinking about what are we going to do in 2020? Do we need to do something different from what we've done this year? If you're a leader, whether you're a business leader, an HR leader, you're still a leader. And I want you to think about 3 questions to look back at what happened in 2019. Number 1, did your entire team hit all of the objectives that you set forth for them in 2019? The second piece is, did you as an individual leader, hit the specific objectives that you set out for yourself for 2019? And then this is the hard one. What are you going to do differently in 2020 that you didn't do in 2019? You know, one of the things about looking backwards is to determine what do we need to do different as we look forward. And as leaders, this is a key truth that we need to understand. But there's another step to this. When we're responsible for teams, whether an entire business like this, whether it's a division, whether it's a handful of people, there's something that we really have to understand as we think about in planning 2020. And this is the truth that I want you to really grasp as you think about your planning, your vision for what's going to come next year. People naturally follow leaders stronger than themselves. Now, let that sink in for a second. People naturally follow leaders that they believe are stronger than themselves. So here we are at the end of November, moving into December. And I don't like to wait till January 1 to get started on things. I've got this thing in my mind that I need to start a little bit sooner. It's kind of today. Once I make that decision, I'm going to start. So a few days ago, I went back to my gym that I haven't been to in a number of months for various reasons, right? We get to a point where we're traveling as a leader and so on, and we kind of forget that stuff. So I went back to the gym, and unfortunately, the trainer that I used for a long time was no longer there. He's left the organization. So they said, hey, why don't you sit down with this other trainer, we'll call him Ted, and he could probably help you as you plan 2020, but we could actually get started today. So I sat down at this desk in this little cubicle environment, and a few minutes later, Ted shows up. Now, Ted is I'm sure at one point was a very, very fit individual, but Ted had some issues. There was no doubt that Ted had gotten off the training bandwagon for a period of time, and as he sat down, he almost didn't fit in the chair that he sat down in across from me and started to talk about the importance of working out, the importance of eating right, and so forth. Now, I don't know Ted's story, in all honesty, but as I'm sitting there listening to what he's saying as the person that would be leading me through my fitness, I kept thinking in the back of my mind, this guy doesn't even have it all together, but yet he wants me to follow him. Now, the short end of the story is I left and I've decided not to use Ted because of the truth that I just stated here. Let me say it to you again. People naturally follow leaders stronger than themselves. And obviously with Ted, I didn't think that he had it all together. I didn't think that he was stronger than me in terms of fitness and food and so forth. So I've decided to go in a different direction. But as we think about 2020, as you think about how you're going to get your team to perform in 2020, there's really 5 things that I want you to understand about leaders that are important in terms of how you're going to lead. This idea, this truth that people look up to leaders that they respect. Let me go through these very quickly, and then I'm going to wrap up with some news that I think will be of benefit to you. Number 1, what causes people to follow one another or follow a leader is the respect for others. Leaders who show respect for individuals on their team naturally get people to show respect back. And long ago, when I first became a leader, the guy that trained me is a guy I've mentioned in other videos by the name of Mike Ames. Mike didn't care if you had all the experience in the world or just a little bit of experience. He showed you the respect. And as a result of that, all of us as young junior leaders back 30 years ago showed Mike the respect that he deserved because he reached out to us first. Think about that with you and your team. Even though your team may not have earned the respect, are you providing them that respect so that they ultimately follow you? Number 2 is this idea of courage. Leaders who make the right decision no matter what show courage, and people will follow and respect those individuals. A number of years ago, in the business that we're in, I had a client that I felt that we did not do what we needed to do as an organization. And I went to that client and I said, we fell short. Showing that courage and opening Pandora's box to say we didn't do things right. Everybody was a little bit worried about what was going to happen. But in showing that courage, people realized that as an organization, we're going to do what's right for the right reason. A leader that shows courage will make the right decision for the right reason, no matter the outcome, because it's the right thing to do. Number 3 is success. I mean, we like to follow. The human nature is we will follow people that we believe are successful. Why do you think so many people follow athletes, professional athletes, or people like Tony Robbins and others? They seem bigger than life. But when a leader shows some level of success, people will start to follow. Success in and of itself doesn't draw people in to follow forever, but at least it gets people to listen, which is an important place. So think about the success that you've had as a team. Is that something that everybody's able to see? The success you've had individually in the goals that you've set forth, and did you communicate those goals so your team can share in that success and follow you as a result of that? So we don't want to overhype this idea of following by success, but we want to understand the impact and the importance of it. Number 4 is loyalty. And when I talk about loyalty to leaders, immediately many of our minds, and I was this way for a long time, goes to, what about the loyalty my team shows to me first? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the loyalty that you're showing to your team, that you've got your team's back. You're willing to make those hard decisions, as we talked about in courage, to support your team for the right reasons. Does your team feel that you're loyal back to them? Or should I say, does your team see the loyalty so that they provide that loyalty back to you? People will follow you when they believe that you have the loyalty to them. They will reciprocate that loyalty when they see and experience that loyalty that you provide as a leader. And then number 5, and I've mentioned this in a number of other videos, is that value addition. People will follow leaders who provide value back to them. You know, are you making a decision every day you get in the office to provide value to your team? Or are you waiting for your team to provide value to you? If you want more information on that particular one, check out some of the previous P3 videos where I talk about moving from the perks of leadership to the price of leadership. Look, here's my point in all of this. You're going into 2020 and you've got to figure out, how are you going to drive more performance out of your team? How do you get the best out of your team? Not just the most out of your team. Starting in the first week of December, we want to provide more value to you. We want to see you flourish as leaders. And for 12 days, starting in December, as I said, we're going to be providing you with free tools, complimentary tools, and the potential for complimentary training. Look, we don't want anything from you. I do this P3 for you to take what I've learned as a leader and make sure that we're all applying it as leaders. Now, if you're watching this, you'll probably be receiving an email over the next few days on where to take advantage of these 12 days of giveaways, if you want to call it. 12 Christmas presents to you, 12 holiday gifts to you from us. It might be a virtual training. It might be an on-site training for your leadership team, or it just might be helpful emails, ebooks, and videos to help you along your journey of increasing your ability as a leader so that your team continues to flourish. Look, one of the first P3 videos I talked about was the law of the lid, which means if you're an 8 as a leader, you're going to limit your team to 6 and 7s. And more than likely, you're only going to attract 6 and 7s. If you want a team that hits the goals, if you're planning for the goals and the objectives of 2020, this is our gift back to you. So this will be our last P3 video of 2019. We're again going to start up in January of 2020. One last piece I want to make sure you all take advantage of. Whether you have an iPhone or an Android, make sure you go to the App Store, look for my name, Steve Lowisz, download the Steve Lowisz app. If you are a leader, go to groups and select leadership. There's going to be a few surprises in there over the month of December that you will not be able to get through any of the emails or some of the free giveaways and complimentary information that we'll be giving out under the Qualigence website and so forth. This is going to be specific to you. If you're a leader within talent acquisition or human resources and talent is key to you as well, also join the group Talent Acquisition and Optimization. There'll be some freebies for you there. Like, my wish for you this holiday season is that you get prepared for what comes in 2020, and we want to help by giving you the tools to get you there. We'll see you next year.